This morning in our series, Generation Next, a teen from the Bronx who is already making her mark in the world of poetry. She was just named New York City's Youth Poet Laureate, and we met up with her at a place that is so special to her to talk about inspiration, activism, and the future.
This is the year that every black girl on the block lets their hair out to speak with the sun, and the concrete sings a gospel tune with two swinging ropes on beat.
On the streets of the South Bronx, 18-year-old Stephanie Pacheco can easily find poetry.
So has your family always lived in the Bronx?
Yeah, for decades and decades and decades and decades. This place is very sacred for me.
So tell us where we are now.
We are currently in the Grand Concourse Library. This library is very special to me because it's where I grew up.
But you have to come once in a while.
Yeah, I will.
This library is where she wrote the poem that crowned her New York City's Youth Poet Laureate.
This year's 2023 Youth Poet Laureate, it is Stephanie.
The competition is a local branch of the National Youth Poet Laureate that made Amanda Gorman a household name. In collaboration with the Urban Word Program, it awards young writers and leaders who are committed to honing their craft and creating change in their communities.
What went through your mind when you heard, you know what? Congratulations, this is your title.
My gosh, I think I still haven't processed the moment. I was just so excited to be a part of this legacy and be a part of this community of poets.
The winning poem, called On Surviving House Fires, pays homage to her hometown.
Tell them how they set our neighborhood on fire and tried to turn us into ash. Then tell them how we coughed through the smoke anyway and survived.
What do you want people to take away from that specific poem?
It's important to acknowledge trauma and hurt and violence. And it's also important to acknowledge joy and survival and all the beautiful things that we are, because we carry more than just grief.
Stephanie started performing poetry only 3 years ago, inspired by her advocacy work in high school.
We have done this before, turned ruin into rhythm. It was something about poetry and the delivery of the poets that spoke to people and spoke life into people like nothing else could, it seemed.
The issues she cares about most: educational inequity and community access.
Funds is something that I worry about, and keeping our libraries open, our community centers open, and our schools funded.
There are people who say these same things, but they're not living it. And it's very clear to me you've lived it.
Yeah. Advocacy and activism is life's work. We free ourselves.
It's work she continues to do and hopes to pass on to the next generation.
I want young people who resonate with me and my story and my identity to look at me and know that there is no limit.
When you say your story, what's your story?
I grew up in the Bronx, wasn't given much, didn't have much, but made something anyway. So may all of our forgotten people know abundance, and may every disempowered soul with wrists all bruised and blistered claim their existence to be righteous and take their freedom into their own hands.
Oh, wow. Powerful.
Isn't she a jewel?
Yes.
Stephanie moves on. I got chills there. Stephanie moves on to the regional portion of the National Youth Poet Laureate competition. If she wins the region, she'll be in the running for that coveted national title.
Let's
so
go,
kudos to
Steph.
her.
The
And all of the
spoken word's so powerful.
yes, all of the people who work with her and the mentors. I mean, it is such a wonderful program. Yeah,
Wow,
good deal.
Amazing stuff. Well, coming up next, speaking of amazing, award-winning actor Bill Nye is here. We're going to talk about his new movie, it's getting some award show buzz, and a look back at Love Actually and so much more as the third hour continues. Now, I like that look.
Yeah.
Little blue steel.